we are going to somehow install the mid server. Uh, the basics of the mid server will be covered under the some other video, but in this video we will only focus on the mid server installation, especially the room version, I would say. So let's check for the room version. Okay, so let's extract here. So once you will extract it, you will see there is a field called there is a folder called agent and there is meta-inf. So I would start with the very basic method to basically install the mid server. So let's right click here. You can edit it in any text application. It may be Notepad or it may be Notepad plus plus, or if you have some other like I have C++ code. So you can utilize any text editor. So here I am trying with Notepad plus plus. So you will see that somehow here you have to provide the details of your instance. So let's check with our instance. So here is our instance. So let's copy the URL of our instance. So you can click simply, you can copy it from here and replace it with this text. So this is the scenario. So we have updated it. Meanwhile, save it. And the most important thing, you need one mid instance username and password. So let's quickly create mid server user and password. So instead of doing that, I would recommend you to let's follow the basically ITOM. Let's click here ITOM. So here you will see ITOM Guided Setup. So I would recommend you to do the mid server installation portion using the guided setup. So guided setup has basically I can say that it has a flow which allow you to simply follow the steps and you will be able to install it. So quickly I will talk about it also. So here you can see that welcome to IT operations management. So let's quickly click on get started. Once you will click on get started, you will see here that for mid server we have one task, and for discovery we have another one. Event, for event we have third one. For operational intelligence we have one more. For cloud provisioning and governance we have one more. But you all know that we are going right now to install the mid server. So let's click on mid server, get started, and the progress you can see it like 0%, 0% both. So here it will show you the progress for the whole ITOM setup, and in this area you will only see the progress of mid server installation. So here in the very first part you will see that there are three tasks basically under the mid server. One is the create mid user, so that's why I have choose this guided setup option, so that I can show you that you can click you can create a mid server user from here directly, and of course you can go to this user table, and from there also you can click on new user, and you can create one user and you can provide the appropriate roles. But I will show you what is the basic difference between the manual operation, what you are going to do from creating user from the sys user table, and what is the basic difference here in the mid server section from guided setup. So without wasting your time, I would like to uh, simply demonstrate the process. So here you can see you can assign someone, assign all tasks to someone, or you can assign specifically any person. Like here you can see for create mid user, you can apply some separate user, and similarly for other tasks you can assign to some other users. And if you want to assign single user all the tasks like for mid server, for download and installation, for validation, etc. So here you can simply click one user and all the tasks will be assigned to the one person only. So here I am not going to do anything like that because I am the single person right now. So, and at the same time you can also add notes on this section simply by writing some additional comments, and you will be able to see it that the whatever you have updated is available to see by any user. So these are the basic steps. So the very first part for the mid server installation is create mid user. So let's begin. So let's click on configure. Here you can see it is asking for a username. Let's click create one user with Sam ServiceNow. Yeah, discovery.mid, that will be the best option. Discovery.mid will be the good name to keep it. Let's give some password. I am giving here test123. Test123. Let's confirm it. Once you will confirm it, you will see that here is an option called submit. So you have to submit it. Once you will submit it, you will see that the newly created user is somehow appear in the existing mid server users. Similarly, if you will create some more users either from the back end or from the front end, back end in the sense from the sys user table, having the mid server roles, uh, then that user will also appear here. So here we can simply click. So I have clicked control and clicked. So you will see in the sys user table that this user is already created, and at the same time the best part, you will see that you don't need to give manually roles to this user. If you will create it from guided setup, then you will see that it there is already role has been provided. So this is the best thing which I felt while following the steps of guided setup, that you don't need to give role to that particular user. But if you will create from the sys user table, you will see that you have to give the role manually. And here you can see there is only one role called mid underscore server role. To Yeah, you can see the same here. So mid underscore server basically is a role which allow a particular user to access the mid servers. So meanwhile, let's quickly move to the next part of I would say our simply. So here you can see that your instance username. So what is the username? It's discovery dot mid. So without wasting the time, let's update it here. Discovery dot mid. So this is the basically user. Similarly, we have to provide the password. So as I told you earlier that the password was test123. So let's quickly let's update it here also. uh, what the next thing is, what will be the name of your mid server? So you have to put the name of your mid server. So let's update it. Sam ServiceNow discovery mid. Let's keep this name. You can ideally use the space also. So if you want to do it, you can, but if you don't want, then you can either use underscore or something like that. I am not sure, maybe underscore will not work. You should, you can check and can confirm the same. So it's a very small thing, so I would not explain you. And here at the same time, you can see if you have any proxy details, then you can apply that also. And there are some documentation which you can go through. Definitely here you can see that if you have any proxy host or port number. So proxies are uh, basically this allow you, that proxy details allow you to simply access the internet. So you have to provide a particular IP or name of that proxy, and at the same time the port number for that proxy. So the basically the Windows or the Linux administrator can give you the details if you are if you don't have any details like that. Here we don't need any proxy details to install it, so we can quickly save it. And once you will save it, you will see that you have to simply. So let's close it again. And at the same time, we have checked that user is already created, and you have to close it either by clicking on cross, or in the bottom you can click close. So we don't need to save it in the browser. So once you are done, you have to mark it as complete. So once you will click it mark as a complete, you will see that here you have completed the 33% of the task. Okay, so I am sure you don't have any issue from at this moment. You will not feel any kind of confusion or anything like that. So let's move again to the folder. Since we have updated our config file, let's click on the start, that is, so start mid server. So let's try to start the mid server. Once you will click on start mid server and wait for the command. It's waiting to start. So it's trying to start the mid server. Let's see what is going to happen. Okay, so mid server is somehow started, I think so. So how would you know that your mid server has installed? uh, I would say there are two ways to know it. The very one is simply, let's right click on notepad plus plus again, and you will see that your mid server sys id has been generated. So basically mid server is now installed. Okay, one more thing, here in the password section you will see that somehow your password is encrypted right now. If you can remember, we have provided the mid server password as test user. So somehow that has been updated with the uh, encrypted key. So again, let's close it. The second way to know that your mid server is installed or not, let's quickly move to the mid server section, mid server module. So if once you will click on mid server, you will be able to see that there is a section called servers, and on the server section you will see that okay, your mid server is now up and your mid server is now installed. Now the very important thing is now need to be done, that is, you will see that there your mid server is not validated yet. So what you need to do, you have to simply click on validate related link, and once you will click it, you will see that your mid server is going to validate. So let's check either it is clicked or not. I am not sure. Let's wait for a second. It may take some time to validate it. If it will not work, we will try some once more. Meanwhile, you can simply refresh it also. Okay, there is somehow issue of our internet. Okay, internet is back. Let's refresh it. So it was an issue of somehow. Okay, it's validating now since we have clicked on validate button, so you will know. Meanwhile, I would like to show you the next step for the mid server installation. So what is the mid server section? So download and installation, you have already done it. So either you can configure it, or let me show you how, what things you will find here. So here you will see the same thing like from the installation section what you have seen here, like let me show you. So in the download section you will see that you need to download these files, Windows downloads, Linux downloads, after clicking on this. So since I have already downloaded it to save the time for this video, so that's why I didn't show you. But you guys can simply download it from here. Either if you are using your Windows machine, you can simply use Windows MSI, Windows Docker recipe, whatever you are using, or if you are using the Linux device, Linux host if you have, then you can use RPM, DV, depending upon the what kind of system you have. So meanwhile, I was also showing. So meanwhile, it's validated also. So our mid server installation is somehow finally done, 100% done. So meanwhile, I would show you. So from here, you can similarly download the same thing. It's basically download page here. So let's close it, and you don't need to do anything here. Simply mark as complete since you have already downloaded it, and also at the same time, in the validate mid option, you will see that you have to validate your mid server. So from here also you can validate it, but somehow I would say we have already validated it. Okay, let me check why it's down meanwhile, but let's see what is going to happen. So mark as complete also. So all the three activities has been done. So your ITOM setup particularly mid server section is completed, that all the 3 tasks has been completed. So 100% of the mid server task is done and 20% of the ITOM setup is done. So you can simply go back and you can check the same. So here you can see that your mid server is somehow 100% completed. And if you want to, like in future also, you may need to install some more mid servers, and definitely that time you will see that your the status is completed. So you don't need to worry about it. You have to simply click here, edit, and once you are edit, you have to mark it as incomplete, and similarly you have to mark all 3 as incomplete, and again you can do the same set of tasks to set up your mid server for some other integrations or for some other activities. So this is the whole scenario for the IT operation management guided setup for the mid server installation or configurations. So this is all thing which I need to explain you guys, and your mid server is somehow ready, and this is the all process which you can follow